So, our next team is the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yes. All right, you ready for this? This is a good one. Right, so but they've been busy. Yeah, we can say they've been one of the busiest team in the summer, or whatever if you want to call it, if it's not summer. So obviously they got a new coach in, a new assistant coach also in. So they signed Steve Nash as the head coach and Mike D'Antoni as the assistant head coach.
Two head coaches so far.
Two head coaches for
The
the
Murray.
price of one. Yeah, which we'll talk about it in my X Factor bit, but we can come back to those two guys. I've said players in. I've put KD on the list because obviously he wasn't there last season, so it's almost like they just signed him. Got him Jeff Green. Jeff Green is back in there. The last two players to have ever played for the Sonics. Still in the NBA, so that would be a great reunion. They've added Landry Shamet, which I'm still in the Shamet hype train for some reason. Still, somebody's got to be on it, and that's me. They've signed Joe Harris and Tyler Johnson. So I think Joe Harris obviously is the 3-point champion or shooting champion or whatever you want to call it. And Tyler Johnson is a good backup point guard, small second guard, whatever. Obviously, they got rid of their coach, Jack Vaughn, but again, who cares? Lost Justin Anderson, Garrett Temple, Jamal Crawford, who is about 65 years old now and is still in the NBA, and Tyson Chandler, who still also. So the X Factor, going back to Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni. So I think with the players you've got, KD, Kyrie, big names, big mouth, you need somebody to be more of a friendly head coach. So Steve Nash, I think, has got a good relationship with KD. I think he was coaching him for a summer, I think, something like that. So he knows him quite well. I think Mike D'Antoni will be there more to be the tactical. Sorry, I can't say this. Mike D'Antoni and tactical, but yeah, he's going to be the brain more of the two. I think Steve Nash is more there to lead the men on the field, and D'Antoni will be there to draw plays and make sure everything goes as it should be. So now saying that, I don't know what sort of style we'll be seeing on the from the Nets. Is it going to be 7-second shooting? Is it going to be all threes? Is it going to be? I don't really know what to expect. And I think that would be the interesting stuff. The interesting thing with them is it would be to see how they put everything, the gel together. And then there's still the trade rumors with James Harden in there somewhere, which would kill the depth. The roster would be so short. And I think, like everyone says, there's only one ball. If you got Kyrie, KD, and James Harden on there, good luck. Get the Dolly Pran out, because that would be a massive headache for any coach. That's it.
It's controversial.
Oh, hang on. Top one or top two if KD is healthy, obviously, in the East.
Can't argue with that, can you? I mean, it's KD. He's a leader, a scorer, and I completely agree. I mean, I'm so excited to see Steve Nash back in there. That's a play that I enjoyed watching so much. It's going to be very, very interesting. Yes, maybe top 3, but yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, I do wonder if Steve Nash will have the kind of Jason Kidd effect and stuff like that. But we'll see. Throw some water, timeout or whatever it is. But yeah, totally. KD, I think everyone thinks come back from the Achilles injury, he'll be fine. But it's one of the worst injuries in sport.
Yeah.
And he won't have his lift, he won't have his dynamic, and he'll be thinking about it kind of all the time. So, but he's got Kyrie as someone he can kind of dish off to when he's kind of double teamed and whatnot. And I like the big men on the team. I think, DeAndre Jordan catches alley-oops. Jarrett Allen doesn't ask for much. He's not a post-up man. So I think the space on the floor should be quite good. And yeah, I think it's just dependent on kind of Spencer Dinwiddie to kind of be that facilitator. I think they haven't got many kind of facilitators on that team. They've got a lot of kind of people that are ball dominant and can pull it up. But whether they can facilitate and just get everyone involved is the kind of bigger question. But on paper, I mean, they look quite scary, actually. You know what I mean? And I think Caris LeVert, kind of one of my kind of favorite, kind of underrated, under the radar kind of players. He puts up numbers when he needs to. He's a tough kind of kid. But again, will he feel, like a second-rate citizen against kind of Kyrie and, Durant once they come in? So it's going to be quite interesting how it works out. And looking forward to watching them play, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, right there, you've just named 4 players who will play with the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
Although KD is probably one of the quietest scorers we've ever seen in the league, at some point the ball finds him. So that dynamic is going to be interesting, and I would expect for there to be another move or two for them come the trade deadline mid-season. If they're doing a trade deadline mid-season, I don't know how they're going to have all of that stuff shake out. I'm sure they will. But yeah, I don't think this will be the same roster come the playoffs for sure. I think there will be some other movement, whether that is a Harden trade, which I don't think is going to happen now. But I think something's gonna give over there with 4 head coaches and 1 ball. Yeah, but we'll see. I don't know if they'll have the regular season record that would warrant them as contenders, but I think come playoff time, they're going to be tough to deal with all of their one-on-one scorers. Yes. So we move. Next up, we have the Orlando Magic.
The Orlando Magic. Not very exciting, guys. Well, their biggest addition, in my opinion, is their draft pick. 15th overall, Cole Anthony, son of our, can we say, colleague, Greg Anthony. Now he's a colleague of us. He used to be a great player.
Yeah.
They lost DJ Augustine, Wesley Wundu, Melvin Fraser Jr., BJ Johnson, a big law. Their X factor is it's just a tough team to find something that you really like. However, I do like 2 things. They have 2 duos that I actually like. Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, I think, can be a great addition. He can have a good impact. He's going to have the minutes. And we'll see how he adapts to the NBA, which I think he's going to be fit right in. And I like actually another duo that they have, and that's a European duo, Vucevic and Fournier. They're solid, solid European genes in them. They come in. They're good shooters. They're solid defenders. They can score. They're not the most athletic players, but they have a lot of experience. They're good. And you have Aaron Gordon. He's a 12, 13 points a game player. I see them again fighting for an 8th seed. And a side question here for you guys is: would you compare Aaron Gordon to Vince Carter?
Let me go and let me stop you right there.
Can we all say this in unison? 3, 2, 1. No.
Wow.
That's blasphemy right there.
I wanted to test you. Yeah, he's going to give us a couple of exciting dunks over the season. That's it.
Yeah, funny you said that. I've just started playing 2K21, and I got Aaron Gordon in my fantasy draft thing, and after 2 games, I'm going to trade him. I think when they're supposed to get rid of him at some point. I thought there were trade talks around him.
There were trade talks of him going to the Hawks, but then him and Collins is a bit redundant. And if anything, Collins can score a bit better. He can defend a bit better.
Yeah.
No.
Just Aaron Gordon is just like, he's on. I won't say he's just not on the cusp, but he's on the cusp of either greatness or into oblivion. You know what I mean? And stuff. And he's just like, you see him like have a highlight reel. He's done a 360 in a game, and then he's like, you look at his score sheet, and he's 2 for 20 or something like that. He's just like one of those anomalies in the NBA. We like, Mate, if I had your potential, seriously, I'll be making some serious cash.
You know what he is? He's a YouTube player. But what I mean by that is like it's all highlights, and it's like a lot of like you said 360, and then suddenly he'll hit a buzzer beater at some point, and like he'll win one game, it's onto something incredible that you've never seen before. But then I don't think with him there's anything like he does everything okay. His dunking is what separates him from the rest, but there's nothing else in terms of ability that is, the NBA, you've got to be almost a specialist at something. Either you're like a great 3-point shooter, you have to be he's a good dunker, but it's not somebody that like Vince Carter, like you said, it's like you see his dunks, it's out of the ordinary, and that this like he's good, but it's not a specialist at anything. So like you say, like Patris says, like it's either it's gonna carry on that way, let's do the same, or maybe he's gonna find something that he's great at that we don't know about maybe next season, or he's just gonna be an average player that's gonna be there until he's 38 and end up on the Knicks, because we like that.
He's mediocre. Like you said, he has so many tools physically that we like saw the off season where this off season he learned to shoot, and now he's going to be a 3-point threat, and that didn't quite materialize. And then he's a great passer, he's going to be like Draymond Green, and then that didn't really materialize. And then the defense, and he's not even a jack of all trades, he's like a 7 of all trades. And we just haven't seen him make the jump with anyone's skill. And the Orlando Magic is a bit of a 7 of all trades right now as well. I think they've taken a short step back and losing DJ Augustine. And they will probably make the play-in tournament. Like the number of teams that can potentially get in the playoffs is ridiculous now. So they're probably in that 7 to 10 range for me. Hey, thanks for the bubble, Orlando. Moving on to our next team, which is the Washington Wizards.
We're really getting
Washington
in the
Wizards.
stuff now.
Okay,
it's the good stuff now. Let's go.
Oh dear. So it makes you wonder when a team kind of goes to the bubble and its top players decide not to go. That's but so the Washington Wizards obviously got Bradley Beal, 30 points a game, 6 assists, almost a triple-double a game, but he's missing his kind of cohort, as we all know. John Wall, been injured for about 20 years. It's really quite terrible. And he's got gets like 40 million a year as well, doesn't he? So it's like, how do we get rid of this guy? So I don't know. It's such a dilemma for the Wizards at present. Had a losing record last season, won about 25 games in total. They didn't make the playoffs, obviously. Bradley Beal, sensational player, can dribble with both hands, great shooters, athletic, an all-star. He could be in the running for MVP if he plays as well as he did last season. But all they've got is a guy they signed to 5 years. I think it's 5 years. The great shooter, Davis Bertans. I mean, great shooter and all, but, liability on defense, flat-footed, I think he surprised many people, and I don't think he's going to do it again this season. I think teams are going to lock down on him. It's going to see how versatile he really is. And, looking at their bench, I mean, they haven't really got much else except for the young buck from Japan, Rui, who had a decent rookie season. Is it his second season? I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Second
First
season.
season. So it's going to be his second season now.
Yeah. So he's a decent player. I like, from Gonzaga, great little player. But they didn't sign anybody, worth mentioning to kind of back up Bradley Beal, which they're going to need. I mean, Ish Smith is the fastest point guard I've ever seen in my life, but yet, he's a, I won't say liability, but he's got limited tools, limited range in his game. So again, I think they'll probably barely make the 10th, 9th spot again. It's going to be another painful season for Bradley Beal in particular, just because he's got no help. I mean, until John Wall comes back, it's whether they're going to trade him or let him go, because he's not going to be much of an asset coming off his numerous injuries as well. But it's an interesting dichotomy, should we say, for the Wizards. So let's see what happens.
You know what's funny with
Yeah,
the Wizards is like there's a lot of people that talk shit about the Knicks, but like the Wizards are it's on so many levels. Like I don't know why they're here. Like they've got the only saving grace they've got is having Bradley Beal, which is one of my favorite players in the NBA. It's so awesome to watch. But the rest of it is like, where are you going? What's your plan? What do you want to do in the NBA? Like I don't think they themselves know where they're going. I don't even know who the general manager is. I don't even know who their coach is. I don't even know what's going on there.
They got a new GM there. They made a lot of front office changes for the first time in a very long time. So I think they are going to start to sort of make some positive moves. Although everything you said about Bertans was right, I think in that signing might make more sense further down the line when they bring in some defensive personnel and some people to complement him as a role player and in turn complement Beal as a star player. But yeah, it's a rough time being a Wizards fan. They had like flashes of success in the Eastern playoffs in the mid to late tens, I guess we call them.
Sure.
And now that injury has really just crippled the franchise, pun intended, I guess.
Yeah.
When is John Wall supposed to come back? Is he supposed to be back this season?
I think he is. I think he's ready to go. From what he's saying, I think.
What shape?
Yeah, they're going to take it, very carefully, obviously, because he's a franchise player. I've seen the kind of summer videos where they're always working out him and Beasley were going at it one-on-one and stuff. But you can never tell from those videos whether, they're real or not. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they signed Bertans again. Like I'm a big Spurs fan. I loved it when Bertans was there. Any player that played for the Spurs, I kind of like have an attachment to. And, he's a solid player, but he's not worth it. Rui Hachimura, the Japanese rookie sophomore this year, he's good. He's the future, but it's going to be another disappointing season for them. We'll see what happens with John Wall.